Uh, it seems it's recording now,
Perfect, thank you.
but I don't know where the file are going to.
We'll figure it out later, I'm sure. We'll figure it out.
After that, I can check. And here in Brazil, I am part of the technical and pre-sales team in TmaxSoft. And here we have several opportunities using Tibero already. And Tibero is the strongest product from Tmax we are selling here in Brazil. So we have some experience in this product, and we'll try to exchange with you as much as possible, okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Thank you.
All right, I just wait your mark to start, and we can go.
Yeah, let's get started. Sounds great.
Let's get started. Okay. I will share with you my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can see it.
If you want to make some questions to me in the chat, no problem. I can check it during the presentation and during the demo. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So as I told you, I prepared to you a Tibero demonstration, and first I will present to you some overview about Tibero and some technical information during this presentation. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Let's start with comparison about Tibero between Tibero and Oracle database. Tibero is, we used to say Tibero is the alternative for Oracle because, as you know, Tibero compatibility, talk about syntax, SQL commands, and structure is very similar to Oracle. So everyone who wants to move from Oracle looking for another database solution will find on Tibero the best alternative. Okay. Of course, Tibero is not Oracle, so Tibero has difference and something that Tibero does not implement. But what Tibero implements is similar to Oracle in all points. Okay? Mainly talking about syntax commands and structure and PL SQL structure and etc. Here we can see Tibero Oracle Enterprise Edition comparison. We are talking about options that Tibero and Oracle have. So in the Tibero column, you can see, let me start the laser pointer. As you can see here in the Tibero Enterprise Edition column, all options for Tibero are present in the Enterprise Edition. So this is a very grateful advantage compared to Oracle. The customer only only needs to pay the Tibero Active Clusters option. All the others are present in the Enterprise Edition. Okay, different in Oracle that almost all options you have to pay apart, right? Continuing with comparison, Tibero price is lower than Oracle also in all points. Starting from the core database, the price is very different from Oracle Enterprise Edition. And as I told before, all options from Oracle you have to pay apart. And only Tibero Active Cluster, you have to pay for Tibero. So comparison about prices is very different. It's very big. Okay. Uh, uh, Another point is the core factor for Tibero is lower than Oracle also, so it reduces the price a little bit more. And for the annual, Tibero also has lower taxes than Oracle. Okay, this is what the customers use to ask about options normally. And another very great advantage for Tibero is talking about virtualization. I will talk about virtualization in the next slides, but virtualization solution running Tibero like VMware, Tibero supports and costs are fair. Okay. Continuing with cost reduction analysis, here is a graph about maintenance cost in TCO for 5 years. As you can see, Tibero starts with lower cost, talking about maintenance, and TCO also. Adoption cost plus maintenance cost is best alternative for Tibero. Talk about cost. Another thing, Oracle used to charge a separate additional contract for online support, site support. Okay, so that's the big difference about prices and maintenance costs. Here, I will continue talking about virtualization. And of course, we are talking also about cloud. When we talk about virtualization, Tibero has the advantage to be certified and support all virtualization solutions in the market. The main virtualization solutions in the market are supported by Tibero. And how Tibero works with this kind of technologies. If you have a physical server with 100 cores and use just 10 virtual CPUs for the server who you have Tibero installed, the license will be charged only based on these 10 cores and not the entire 100 CPUs from the physical server. All right. The other side, Oracle just certified for their own solution, OVM, Oracle Virtual Machine, and they didn't support any other solutions for Oracle database. If you install Oracle in that other solutions, Oracle does not support it. And worst, if you install Oracle in other virtualization solution than OVM, you have to pay for the entire CPU in the physical server, not only used by the server, the virtual server where Oracle is installed. That's the big difference, okay? Let me check the chat. Kelly, this information about 47% from moving from Oracle to Tibero realized in year one, or is this over several years? is easy. We are talking about the adoption cost. When you buy Tibero, you have approximately 50% of reduction cost. Now we are going to talk about some technical things about Tibero. And Tibero version, the current Tibero version is Tibero 6. And in this slide, we have a blueprint of the Tibero architecture. So let's start talking about the monitoring process. The monitoring process is the main process in Tibero. It started first, and its responsibility is to check every other processes and see if everything is running okay on the instance, and controlling the synchronization and environment of Tibero running in the server. Okay, and another important task for monitoring process is start up your processes in the Tibero instance. Okay. After Tibero monitoring process, we have listener processes. They are the second to be started, and listeners used to be listening for incoming connections from the customers. And the protocol used here is TCP IP, of course. You can have only one listener or more other listeners in the instance. Okay. To control the customer access to the database and receive customer requests, Tibero has what they call working processes. Working processes, they are working after the listener accepts the connection from the customer, they pass the control to the working process available. Okay, we are going to talk more in deep in the next slides about how it works in fact. Okay, we have also in Tibero 6 a new process named admin process. Admin process is a special process for GBA users access. So a Tibero GBA can use the admin process to get control to the Tibero, exclusive control to the Tibero, not compete with working processes used by the customers. And another point of importance here is even though all channels in the working process are not available anymore because they are attending several customers' requests, the GBA can access Tibero using admin process. So it's like a backdoor to access Tibero exclusive for GBAs. Okay. There is another question in the chat, just a minute, from Alan. You can get a copy of this presentation, of course, after the meeting, no problem. I will send to you. I will send to Kelly, and Kelly forward to everyone. Is it okay, Kelly?
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll do that. Thanks.
All right. After talking about working process, we have the available Tibero drivers for customers' connections. Tibero uses standard and open standards for database drivers like ODBC, JDBC, CLI, and ESQL. It's very good for who those wants to keep the freedom to choose another database solution in the future. So there is no proprietary drivers in Tibero. Tibero uses only open source standards to connect to Tibero. Okay. After that, we have shared memory. It's like the behavior with Oracle. We have shared cache for the PL SQL and SQL's common used. Buffer cache to handle data being changed and read, and log, redo log buffer to record all changes in the database before to go to the disk. And important process also have Tibero have named background processes. Background processes are several processes that do secondary tasks important to the database, like DB writes, block writes, sequence writers, archive log writers, log writers, everything that is running in the background to control the instance are done by these processes, okay? And I forget to say something very important about working process and background processes. Tibero has the feature named multi-threading architecture. So what is it? Tibero multi-threading architecture is every process is created by Tibero in the operational system is multi-threaded, which means when Tibero creates a process, the process creates several threads to really work with these tasks. Okay, so inside each working process, inside each process, there are several threads that really do the job. Okay. After that, we have storage virtualization. It's very important to let the control of your files and disks in charge of Tibero and not in the user responsibility. Of course, users can avoid using automatic storage virtualization and create files and locking disks by themselves as they used to do previously, no problem. But storage virtualization is present in Tibero and helps a lot to create, to handle disks and files. Okay, and finally, they present in all databases, that is disks and files. Okay. Here we have just a representation of a second instance working together in a clustered environment. Okay? There is another question here from George. Is there anything in the architecture that makes Tibero unique compared to other RDBMS solutions? Yes, this multi-threading architecture I will explain better next. And this admin process, this is unique. And the way Tibero starts and handle working process and threads, I will explain it next. Okay. This is what makes Tibero different from another database solution, and this is what makes Tibero very fast and efficient. Let me see. Yes, here. Here we are going to talk about what is multi-threading architecture. Okay, so whenever Tibero starts, there is important information. Tibero always starts all process and threads when Tibero starts and keep it running until Tibero stops. Which means Tibero does not do dynamic allocation for operational system resources. This is modern and very useful nowadays, and many other solutions, software solutions, are using this kind of technology. So, if let me give you a practical example. If Tibero is configured to have 100 connections at the same time, it must be configured previously in the Tibero configuration file. So there is a parameter in the configuration file. You can specify how much concurrent connections Tibero will support, and you inform this number there. In this example, 100 connections. So when Tibero starts, Tibero also starts 10 working process, and each working process starts 10 threads inside. 10 multiplied by 10 equal to 100. That's the way Tibero handle this situation of concurrent connections efficiently. What's the benefits for this approach? Dynamic allocation is not fast. You need to request the resources to the operational system. This causes a lag in the total time, operational time of the database solution. And working with threads is better than working only with processes, because as you can see here in this other picture, working process, if one working process has to communicate with other process, it must be using inter-process communication. This is a protocol, okay? It takes time, and And if we are working with threads, threads run in the scope of the process, so they share the shared memory inside the process. So it's very fast and very efficient. Just another information, inside the working process there is a special thread named the control thread, and the control thread is the responsible to inform which available thread, working thread, the incoming connection are going to. Okay, so this is, I think, this is the most important feature talking about the Tibero difference among other solutions. So Tibero is a modern, very efficient database management system because of that, because hyper-thread architecture. And another important thing, working with this architecture, Tibero is more efficient and use better the server hardware resources. It means Tibero can handle same load from Oracle using less server resources. less CPU, less memory, doing the same. Okay, that's the most important feature in Tibero that I think. Okay. Another important feature here is named Tibero Optimized I/O Process. Tibero is different working with I/O as well. In Tibero, TmaxSoft has divided the tasks from getting dirty data from the memory and writing data to the disk. And between these two important tasks, there is a stack where the data is located between these two processes. And of course, you can use asynchronous I/O in the disk access process, improving even more the efficiency that Tibero work with I/O. Okay. Now we are starting to talk about TAC, Tibero Active Cluster. This is similar to Oracle RAC. It's a cluster solution for using a shared disk to perform high availability and high reliability. So using more than one database instance, accessing the same database, shared database. If a database instance goes down, another node, another database instance will take control and will support the currently connections, okay, by failover technique. And another important using this kind of option is load balance. So whenever a node is overcharged, another node can accept new connections, new incoming connections. Okay? Tibero has this technology, and I'm going to present to you TAC demonstration after this presentation. Another important thing, talking about availability and high reliability, is Tibero Standby CLuster. Tibero Standby CLuster is similar to Active Data Guard from Oracle. So this is almost online replication, database replication, where changes in the active database are sent to the standby database. And if there is a problem with the primary database, the customer can switch over to the standby and make standby the active, supporting the fail from the primary node. Tibero Standby Cluster can operate in two modes. Okay? The standard mode, where Tibero only replicates data from the primary to the standby node, and users cannot access data from the standby database. Okay? They only can access data there if you command the switchover process. And another kind of mode, operational mode, is active read-only mode, where the standby node allows users to read data from the database. This is very useful for example, a data warehouse where I can't submit heavy queries to the online node because the online operation is going on. But I can do that in the database being replicated. There is no problem to submit queries there because there is no online transactions happening there, only replication happening there. So this is an example of the usage of active read-only mode. So this is an important feature in Tibero and it's present in the Enterprise Edition, no costs. Here we are going to see storage virtualization technology. For those who knows Oracle, it's similar to Oracle ASM, Automatic Storage Management. So using this option, this feature better, users can let Tibero control how disks and files are going to be created and leaving the burden to the database services, not to the customer, to the operation. Another important thing, rule of this technology is to control the cluster in the Tibero Active Cluster environment and providing features like supporting striping, mirroring, and rebalancing on the disks. Okay, and it's optional. The users can or cannot use. It's up to them. Talking about large volume of sessions in the big data processing environment, Tibero has two important features, namely row-level locking and version concurrency control. This is not exclusive to Tibero. Other modern database solutions have these features, but it's important to say that Tibero also has these features. Okay, with row-level locking, the data is available for more time. And for multi-version concurrency control, I can explain easily for you, like several users accessing the same information at the same time, and there is no corruption in the access of the same information because of this technology. Okay, multi-version concurrency control is data being used by one user and stamps the data used by another user to avoid a difference on the concurrent access. Okay, this is very important for large volume of sessions situation. Okay. Continue talking about big data processing. Now talking about large volume of data. This is to help modern scenarios like big data, data warehouses, BI solutions, or LAP solutions. So Tibero has parallel processing and various partitions methods to help this scenario. The star transformation and bitmap index features, important features for big data processing. Okay, all of those features are available in the enterprise solution now. Not now. uh, with no extra charge. Okay. Tibero also have several utilities that are present when you buy Tibero solution, like TB admin. Now the name is TB manager. It is a graphical user interface to access Tibero and administrate and do some queries, submit some queries to the Tibero and create objects, check database. We are going to experience this tool in the Tibero demonstration next. Okay. Another important tool is TAC. It was named TB Migrator before. Now the name is TAC. And it's an important tool when you are migrating from some database technology different from Tibero to Tibero. So it's a migration tool. It automates the migration process and save a lot of time. It also has an important feature named analysis. So before you start to migrate some database, different database to Tibero, and you can execute the analysis method to create a report about how much is compatible the source database compared to Tibero. So it's a very important feature, and the report is very fine. It's a HTML report, and you can find there how much in a percentage the migration is good for Tibero or not. And if there is an issue, the report also point what is the issue, where the issue is, and why. Tibero has also several tools for backup and recovery, like logical backup using TB import and TB export, where it's similar to Oracle data pump, and TBRMDR. TBRMDR, Recovery Manager, is similar to RMAN from Oracle. So with TBRMDR, you can perform full online backup, incremental backup, and automatic recovery. So for backup and recovery situations, you can use these tools. TB Loader is another important tool to load huge tables fast to the Tibero tables. So all important database solutions have similar tool like this. This is for a batch import process, okay? And of course, series of other utilities is available in Tibero also when you buy Tibero, okay? There is no extra charge for the tools. Everything here listed is present in the Tibero solution. All right. With this, we finish the presentation section, and if you agree with me, we can start the Tibero demonstration now. Kelly?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Are there any other questions before we move into the demo?
No problem.
I don't have any.
No, this has been very helpful, thanks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Louise, I think it's great to move ahead then.
Okay, I'm really surprised you are understanding what I am talking about to you. Even if
Well, to be fair, I've written about Tibero a lot.
okay, let's continue. I am always trying to improve my English skills, but it's very difficult.
I think you're doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
All right. So to show to you a Tibero demonstration, I am going to start a Tibero in a virtual machine. I have several virtual machines here in my machine. And let's start with this one. I have Tibero 6 installed there. I need to ask you, is the font size okay for you, or do you wanna see it greater than I am displaying here?
It's fine for me. I have no issue with it. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
All right. So let me go to the user, and Tibero is installed here in a Linux operational system in this virtual machine, okay? And to start Tibero is very simple. We just need to command tbboot in the command line. Yes, Tibero is started in a normal mode. Now, as I told you, Tibero started all work processes and threads they need to attend what is configured in this instance, okay? Let me show to you tbcfe. Here is the parameter files, and for this instance, I configured 100 concurrent sessions maximum, okay? So Tibero running here is able to accept 100 concurrent sessions. If 101 session comes, it will be rejected. Okay, so it's part of DBA work. Estimate the appropriate number here. Okay, and we can see the processes running here, right? As I told you, the main process, the monitoring process, is the process that starts first. And here is the process ID for this process. And this process starts all processes. So as you can see here, the PID 2344 is the process ID who started all other process for Tibero. Okay, so here we have several working processes, foreground process and background process running, necessary for Tibero instance runs. Okay, right? TB SQL is the command line tool to access Tibero. So to access this instance, I just need to type the user and password, and optionally the instance name, the service ID name I want to access for the instance. Tibero has similar commands from Oracle when we are working in TB SQL. because TB-SQL is similar to SQL Plus from Oracle, the command line interface for Oracle. So who are working with Oracle work with Tibero in the command line very easily. So the database skills for Oracle database administrators, they use to use in Tibero as well. So another advantage using Tibero when migrating from Oracle is you don't need to train again your team in another database solution or hire new professionals for the new technology, because you can use the same DBAs, Oracle DBAs, to work with Tibero easily. We used to say Oracle DBA became a Tibero DBA in one day. It's very similar. Okay. Here we can submit some commands like, and what works on Oracle works on Tibero. Okay. So here is an example. But let me show to you another tool. User interface tool named Tibero Admin. With Tibero Admin we have the same kind of access, but using a fancy interface. Here I have a list of already configured connections I have in my machine. For this connection I will use this one, and I can test if it's okay. Connect. When I connect to Tibero using this tool, I have this interface. On the left side, I have the schema tree browser where my database is listed here, separated by user or schemas. Okay, so here is the Tibero standard schemas, sys, syscat, Tibero, and Tibero 1 is a user, for example, that Tibero installs when you install Tibero. And you can see the objects for each schema. Just open the tree browser. You can see tables, views, synonyms, functions, procedures, packages, etc. Okay. Here in the right screen, in the right window, is the SQL window where you submit commands to the Tibero. For example, select from $, database. And just a minute. And here you have the result. Okay, you have another. You can see another kind of objects as well. And if you select an object here, in this screen you have the details of the object. So you can see details of the table, columns from this table, indexes from this table, constraints, and etc. Okay. It's very similar to all similar tools like to access different kind of database. And for Tibero we have a special menu item here named TBA. It's very useful to control and administrate Tibero instances. So starting with Session Manager, you can see what's happening in Tibero. You can set to refresh automatically or just refreshing using this button. You can see what's happening in Tibero. If you click in a open session, you have some options to, for example, start tracing, close this session, or refresh, and see what is happening in this session, what is the last submitted by this session, for example. SQL Monitor, you can see SQL Monitor being submitted to the instance and check some important information. Transaction Monitor, if transactions are happening in the Tibero instance, you can see transactions happening here. Analyze Manager, you can create statistic analysis and check the automatic analysis Tibero do along the time to make better the performance of objects running on Tibero and querying on Tibero. Tibero used to create these statistics to continually improve the performance of what is being submitted to Tibero. Okay. Graph can report, another excellent tool. Parameters, extents, database information, table space manager. DBase can access table space information directly from here. Data files, undo segment, redo log. Database administrators can make maintenance directly here. Like, for example, I am seeing that system table space is 73% used. So let's allot more space to this space. I just need to click here, click in this icon here, and change the size. Now it's 100 megabytes. Let's double it to 200 mega. I can see the SQL command if I want to submit by myself. Alter database data file, this file, resize to 200 mega, and okay, it's happening now. Table space has been altered, and you can see now the usage space was reduced by the half percent. Instance Monitor is a great tool also to see what's happening in the Tibero instance. If you click here in auto refresh, you can see several indicators to control the performance and the I/O, and if the cache is being used appropriately or not. Okay. If you are doing a hard task on Tibero, you can monitor using this tool. It's very great. It's very great. You can also compile invalid objects here and control security things using Security Manager. Okay. So this is a very important tool, and for those who like more GUI tools than CLI tools, it's a good tool. Okay, let me just check what tool. Okay, Tibero, TBSQL. TAP. TAP. The TAP is the migration tool. So let's migrate something very quick. To do that, I will start Oracle VM. I think it's red. Let me try. Okay. I'm going to start Oracle. Okay. Great. Now I can show to you TAP tool. It's a migration tool. In this case, I'm going to migrate some schema from Oracle to Tibero, okay? So here is the parameters. They are okay. I just need to inform my connection parameters here in the source database and choose which kind of database I'm going to migrate from. So as you can see, we have several types of database and connect. I am connected to Oracle using the TAP tool, and here on this three browser window, I can choose the schema or user I want to migrate. In this case, I will select Luis. Luis has 5 tables, and before to migrate, I told you there is an option to analyze the source database. Let's click here to see what it does. So I will analyze the entire database. I just need to click Run Analysis button. Hello guys, are you still there?
We're here.
Yep.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Just checking. All right, and this is the report analysis I told you before. And for this schema, the compatibility is 93% approximately. Here you can see the objects by type, table space, all table spaces were compatible. Only one procedure was marked as not compatible, and we can see here what is the problem. So the report is very useful for those who are performing the migration process. Here is the problem. So If we change this line here, we can make it compatible to Tibero and fix this error. So the migration would be 100% compatible. Okay. Close. Another important thing, we can use this tool directly from the customer side and ask it to the customer just to send to us the analysis report. It saves a lot of time for new migration opportunities. Okay. And here I'm going to connect to that Tibero instance running on the machine. And I have some property options here before to migrate. I can migrate the entire schema, migrating all objects, or I can choose step by step which kind of object I want to migrate at a time. So for this case, let's migrate all objects and execute the creation of the objects in the target database, in this case Tibero. I'm going to transfer data also, and okay, let's migrate. For this migration, it's very important to check character set if they are equal. As you can see, the character set is not equal. So for a real migration, this migration would not succeed with success. But it's just a test, so I will continue with the migration. Okay? And now the migration is happening. All right, it's finished now, and you can see a final report. This is what migration have migrated. There is not just one error. This is a known error. Tibero does not have this syntax, but it's not important, so we can skip this error. And now, here in this list, I'm going to see Luis schema. There it is, migrated. And we can check with Tibero admin or using TB SQL in the command line interface to check if the objects are okay. Here is the schema. The same tables are here, and I guess tables data. Let's see. Yes. TB test has data also. Yes. So migration was done, and it's perfect executed. So this was the Tibero demonstration, and now let me see. Tibero Active Cluster demonstration. Okay. But I am going to invert the order and show to you Tibero Standby CLuster demonstration first, just because Tibero Standby CLuster demonstration is running on this virtual machine. I don't need to stop and start it again. Is it you guys? I'm going to start TSC demonstration previously than first before the Tibero Active Cluster demonstration. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
No.
Yep. Yep.
No problem, right? Okay. Let me just save some resources here because we are going to need that. Okay. So here I have Tibero single instance running. I will shut down this instance. Okay. And I'm going to exit from this user. As you can see here, Tibero user. This was the user I have started Tibero for the previous presentation. And now I'm going to start Tibero primary and Tibero standby 1 for the TSC demonstration. Primary is going to be the active instance, active Tibero instance for this demonstration. And TSC standby 1 is going to be the standby node. Okay. For Tibero Standby Cluster, you can have several standby for one primary. Okay, that's the reason for this standby 1 number here. Okay, let's start first. When we are working with Tibero Standby Cluster, you have to start at least one standby first before to start the primary. Okay, so let's start standby first. To start standby Tibero, standby must be started in a special mode. Okay, to be boot. Let me show to you. To be boot -H shows the options available for this command. In this case, I need to start Tibero for the standby node in recovery mode. Boot recovery. Okay. Now Tibero Standby Cluster in the standby node is running and waiting for data replication. Okay, so let's start the primary now. To start the primary, I just need to start Tibero in a normal mode. And now Tibero primary node are replicating data to the Tibero standby node. You can see two Tibero instances running in machine. It should be in another machine, but for demo purpose, I am doing the same machine, okay? Here is the user standby, and here is the user primary. So primary is opened in Tibero running on the primary user. Linux user is running in a normal situation, and Tibero instance running on the standby Linux user are running in a recovery mode. Okay, we can check in the primary node. You can see here I am in the primary node. Okay, TSC primary. So in the primary node, I can submit some comments to check like. And here you can see what's happening. I'm replicating data from primary to standby on this address and port, TCP/IP address and port. This is the type of synchronization happening here. There are some types we can choose. This is the thread number, flags, and the sequence and blocks sent to the standby node. Okay. Let's give this window here and create another one. Okay, here I am in the standby node, and here I am in the primary node. Okay, so primary here, standby here. For the standby, I can check the same information using different view. For example, I can check the number if it's synchronized. Okay, synchronization is okay. All right. Let's make some change here in the primary to see if this is propagated to the standby. First of all, I need to see which kind of replication mode standby are configured now. So standby recovery in progress. I need to change it to read only. And if I check again, all right. Now I can submit comments to read data from this side. Okay. Different from Tibero Active Cluster, Tibero Standby Cluster has two or more databases, separated databases. Primary has one database, and Standby has another different database. And these databases are being replicated all the time, okay? In Tibero Active Cluster, there is only one database named shared database, where several instances of Tibero connects to the same database. So the concept is different, okay? And here in the Tibero Standby Cluster primary node, I'm going to create something to see the replication happening, okay? So just check here in the standby what we have. So this is the users we have in the database, in the standby database. Let's check what we have in the primary database. Must be the same. Okay. The same users are in the primary node and in the standby node. Let's create an user here in the primary node. Create user Luis, identified by Luis. Now I can see a new user created in the primary. Let's see if the user was replicated to the standby. Yes, it is. It was. Okay. Print TBA to Luis, just to access easily this user, and connect to Luis using Luis password. And let's create a small table here. And let's see if the table T1 was replicated to the standby node. There it is. And this is the table. Okay. Let's insert some data. Data is here on the primary. But data is not here in the standby. Why? Because I need to commit the change. Now data is here. As you can see, the replication is quite instantly, right? Right, so this is the Tibero Standby Cluster demonstration. And if you don't have any questions, we can proceed to the last demonstration, Tibero Active Cluster demonstration.
That works for us.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, can you go to Tibero Active Cluster demonstration? Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
I've been saying yes while on mute for like 30 seconds. Sorry, Luis.
It's no problem. No problem, no problem. Okay, I'm going to shut down the Tibero instance. As I have started before the standby cluster first, now I have to stop before the primary instance. Okay, TB down and TB down. Graceful shutdown was done. And as I am in the same virtual machine, I can command the commanding one window. Okay. Very well. For the Tibero Active Cluster information demonstration, there are several ways to do that. For this demo, I have created three virtual machines. One virtual machine is the storage, where I have the shared disk. Okay, so I have installed a simple operational system, Linux operational system, just to have the shared disk available for the other Tibero Active Cluster instance. Okay, so this virtual machine is like a storage device. Okay, and here I have TAC node 1 and TAC node 2. And they are sharing the same disks in the Tibero Active Cluster storage virtual machine. Is it okay? Everyone understand that? All right. So let's start the storage VM first to make the shared disk available for the others. Okay, now I'm going to start the node 1, where the Tibero instance 1 is installed. And node 2, where the Tibero instance number 2, node 2, is installed. So I have three virtual machines running in my laptop, each one with your own purpose. This one, as I told you, is just a shared disk, behaving like a real storage. And this one is the node 1, and this one is the server in node 2. For the virtual machine running as a storage, I don't need to do nothing more. But here in the node 1 and node 2, I need to start Tibero instance. Okay, so they are running now. So let's access the first node. I am logged as a root user, and I'm going to start the Tibero Active Cluster node 1, and after that I will start node 2. Some resources, when I start node 1, they are started for the whole cluster. So I don't need to start everything in each node. I am doing that. I will explain to you the start, how the resources are going to be started. So first thing to do is check if the cluster is running. tbcm is the command to control the cluster manager. Okay, Tibero Cluster Manager is the sequence of this command. If I type tbcm -h, I can see a little help. tbcm -s, I see the stats. And tbcm -b for boot. There is a reason to start Tibero Cluster Manager as a root, and the reason is if I want to use virtual IP, VIP, Cluster Manager must be started as a root user. Okay. Let's see again. Tibero Cluster Manager starts, and now Tibero Cluster Manager is running. Okay, on the node 1. Now I can start using Cluster Manager remote control tool. Cluster Manager remote control show displays information about the cluster. So as I told you, when I start Cluster Manager in the node 1, several resources are started for the whole cluster. So what is started for the whole cluster, and I don't need to know again in the other nodes. The network, the private network, the public network for the cluster, and the private network cluster, the cluster itself, and cluster file number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, I need to start here two services, Tibero Active Storage Service and Tibero Active Cluster Service. Tibero Active Storage Service is the storage virtualization solution used when I created the Tibero Active Cluster here. Okay, so it's a Tibero instance different from the database instance. So you have to start it first. And after that, I can start the Tibero Active database instance. Okay, let's do it. Cluster Manager, Remote Control, Start. And there is some different ways to start resources. I can start a service, or I can start just a resource. In this example, I'm going to start the service in the node 1 and the resources in node 2. And we will see the difference. So here I'm going to start service, name it TAS, TAS. TAS, as I told you, is the service resource that controls the TAS Active Storage instance. So it must be started first. It's starting. Okay. Tibero Active Storage instance is started in a normal mode. For your reference, it's like a Tibero instance I have started up along this demonstration. You can see that. Okay, and it's similar as a database instance. So, but this is a active storage instance, in fact. Okay, and now I can check again the cluster stats with the cluster manager remote control command show. Now we can see here that TAS service is up and TAS resource AS resource named TAS1 is up as well. Okay. I'm going to finish this startup in the node 1, starting the service named TAC for the database instance. When I start a service, I start a service for the whole cluster. When I start a resource like a AS or a DB resource, I am starting it only for this node. So in the number 2, I don't need to start the service TAS because I am starting it here. And the same happens to the database instance, in this case the service TAC. So let's start the service TAC. It's starting. And now I can check. I have 2 Tibero instances running here. One for the active storage and another one for the database instance. This database instance is the node 1 database instance. And this TAS instance are using the shared disk created in this storage. I have told you before. Okay, so with just one node, I can operate, but I will start the node number 2 to see TAC running. In fact, let's see the stats of the cluster again. Cluster manager remote control show. Now I have everything about the cluster up and running, and I have resource active storage number 1 running, and resource database TAC1 running normal mode. And I have also IP number 1 up and running. Okay, so I can use this IP to connect, or I can use this IP to connect direct to this node. I'm going to start the node number 2 now. Oh, sorry. Node number 2 is in another machine, another IP address. And here I'm doing the same for the cluster manager, tbcm-s, to start the cluster manager on this node. Oh, sorry, -b. as a root user to start Tibero Cluster Manager. Okay. Well, I should have changed to Tibero user here, but I didn't. So I will do the same here. No problem. Cluster Manager Remote Control Show. All right. With Cluster Manager up and running with tbc-b command, I can see the status of the cluster. So I don't need to start the cluster again, just the resources for the node number 2. As you can see, in the node number 2, the service for the active storage is already running up, and the same happens to the service for the database. So I just need to start the resource for active storage in the node number 2, sorry, and the resource database resource for the node number 2. So let's do it. Cluster Manager Remote Control Start. In this case, I'm not starting a service, I'm starting a resource. AS name TS2. Now it's starting. If I see the status again, we can see that AS named TAS2 is started in normal mode. And to complete the startup for the node number 2, I'm going to start Cluster Manager, Remote Control Start, the resource named DB, TAC2. Let's confirm. TAC2. DB TAC2 is done. So let's start it. Well done. CMRCTL show. Everything up and running, including 2 VIPs for each node. So let's start playing with Tibero Active Cluster. First thing to do, let's clear the screen here and here. Let me remember please. Test 1. Okay. I'm going to connect to the Tibero in the node number 1. TBS Tibero at TAC. When I put at TAC, I am telling to the listener that I am going to connect to the Tibero using load balance service. So one time I'm going to be connected in the node 1 and another time in the node 2 and so on. Okay, and we are going to see it happening here. Load balance running, okay, working. With this command here, I can see I am thread number 1 means node 2. If thread number is 0, I am in node 1. Okay, so I am connected. So sorry, I am using node 1 and I am connected to the Tibero using node 2. This is what is happening here right now. If I exit from this connection and try to connect again, maybe it changes. Depends on the load balance algorithm. I am connected in the node 2 yet. Let me try again. Sometimes we need to do several. There it is. Now the load balance changed me to node 1. So I am in node 1 connecting the instance in the node 1. This is the behavior of load balance. Sometimes I am when I request a connection, we never know where the connection are going to be. Sometimes it's in node 1, sometimes it's in node 2. If there are more than 2 nodes, it will happen for the other one else. Okay. This is the test number 1. Let's see the test number 2. Okay. I am going to create something here in the node 1, and as I told you, all nodes in a Tibero Active Cluster share the same disk. So if I change something in node 1, it must be present in node 2 immediately. Okay, so let's see it. Okay, as you can see, there is no Luis user here. Okay, I am going to create it. All right, Luis is created. ls is a special command in Tibero to list all objects in the user. It's a very useful command. And you can see there is no object for this user. Of course, it was just created. So let's create a new table here. Okay. If I go to the node number, uh, let's just see in which node I'm connected here, just to compare in the node 2 where I'm going to. TB SQL sys Tibero at TAC. When I type TAC, I am leaving the control to the load balance because I have configured it in the parameters file, okay? If I identify TAC1 or TAC2, I will always connect to that node, okay? But if I let TAC, just TAC, the load balance will control the connection for me, okay? And see. Okay, so this command is located on Tibero node 1, and I am connected to the Tibero instance in the node number 1. And here I am on the node number 2, connected to the instance in the node number 2. Okay. But could be the opposite, no problem. Okay. Well, Luis must be here, and it is. And the table must be here also. Okay, it is there, but no data. Let's insert some data. Let's insert some data from here now, in the node 2. If I check the table here, task table 1, the table structure is there, but there is no data being displayed here because, as before, I need to commit because I am connected in a different session. Okay, commit. Okay, and now I can see the changes here. All right. This is the exercise number 2, and to finish, little test of failover when I will drop one node, and the service being realized by this node will be replaced automatically by another running node by using the failover technique. Okay, so it only happens if I am connected in one node, if I am using one node connected to another node. So it's not what is happening here now. As you can see, I am here in the node 1 connected to the node 1. If I close the node number 1, forget about it. The best way to see that happening is connecting to different nodes. So let me try to connect again and see. Where I am. All right. Now I am the perfect conditions. As you can see, I am in the node number 1 connected to the node number 2. Thread number 1, node number 2. So if I submit some command here, select everything from table 1 I don't have table 1 here because ANC is not Luis. Okay, select everything from Luis, table 1. Okay, it's running okay. But if I shut down the node number 2 where I am connected now, what happens? Let's see. To do that, I will go to node number 2, exit. As you can see, everything is running and napping, running normal mode, okay? So let's try to stop the database instance of the node number 2. Stop. No, if I stop the service, I will stop all database instances in the entire cluster. So I don't need to stop the whole service, just the database resource for the node number 2. So I will stop GB name TAC2. Failed to stop the resource TAC2 because there is one active session for TAC2, and in fact it is. As I told you, we are in the node number 1 connected to the node number 2. So if I try to stop the database instance in the node number 2, I am getting this message. But Tibero allows you to force this shutdown. And in this case, the message will not be displayed anymore. Okay, if I try to see the situation about the node number 2, we can see I lost the VIP number 2 and the database instance in the node number 2, but the VIP and the node number 1 in the database, the service in the cluster is running. So I should see the node 1 running. I just need to change a little bit this command. In the node number 2, I can remotely see what is happening in another node. So let's see. I forgot. Remote CM1 show remote CM1 at CLuster 1. Okay, now I am seeing what's happening in the cluster number 1. As you can see above, this is the TAS2 and TAC2. And here I have TAS1 and TAC1. So the database instance in the node number 1 is running. Okay? I have shut it down. Only the database instance in the node number 2. Okay? So if I go back to the node 1 and try to submit some query again in the command line, I was connected to the node number that was shut down. What happens? So let's see. Let's submit the same command. I received an error message saying that the connection to the server was interrupted, but the failover successfully reconnected it. So if I command the command again, oh, magical. And if I get what instance I am now, I will see thread number 0. Oh, that means failover mechanism identified that the connection was lost and automatically switched to another running. So guys, with that I finished the Tibero Active Cluster demonstration and this session today. Now I am open to hear your comments, your questions, and everything. Thank you.
That was great, Luis. It's actually the first time I've actually seen a Tibero demo, and I've been with the company for a year and a half now. So thank you.
No problem. Whenever you want.
Yeah, it's good. I don't really have any questions. It's good. It's just good to see how it works and how it operates in the different applications. But I don't really have any specific questions at this point.
All right.
Yeah, I don't either, but it was very helpful to see this.
Yes.
So,
It really puts the whole product in perspective.
I'm sorry. If you have further questions, you can send it to Kelly, and Kelly can forward it to me. No problem.
Okay.
Definitely,
Okay, great.
definitely. Thank you so much for your time today, Luis. And then I was actually thinking of also maybe using this this demo internally in Chicago, or just making it available to some of the engineers, because as you know, we kind of have a lack of Tibero experience here. So I think it could be really helpful.
Sure, sure.
So thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All
All right. Take care, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.